All right, Nick, let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. It doesn't seem like it because the Seahawks are on a roll, but they have a young first time head coach in Mike McDonald, and he's really doing a lot of great stuff, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think there's a lot of things for the Seahawks to be excited about with this young head coach, and we're going to get into all of that in just a moment. But first, I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, Seattle Seahawks and Mike McDonald defense putting up a great fight. We're seeing a lot of good things out of this defense in the later parts of this stretch. And there's a couple of things in particular he's doing really, really well, as noticed not just by us, but also, NFL. Charles Davis, announcer, commentator, all kinds of things in the NFL, has pointed out some things that Mike McDonald has done really, really well. Let's get into the article and we can talk about it more on the other side. This from Seattle Sports says, Davis had a couple of observations about the defensive backfield, including how he appreciates McDonald's personnel decisions. To be more specific, former cornerback and nickelman Kobe Bryant has emerged as a starting safety alongside Pro Bowler Julian Love, even after the team got previous starter Rayshon Jenkins back from the IR. Says Mike McDonald approaching the defense like, yeah, if you compete, if you play well, we're going to find a way to get you on the field. Has paid major dividends in the secondary, Davis said. They look very good, cohesive, a fun unit. The first time I have laid my eyes on this unit was in the preseason when they had joint practices with the Tennessee Titans because I did a Titans preseason TV coverage package. So I was there to watch practice and then do the game and watch that secondary compete and do well. So it's not a major surprise to me. None of it's a surprise. They went through the lull there. And all of a sudden, people were scoring, but they're back playing really, really well. And it's just fun for me to watch. Again, from over on Seattle Sports. Nick, I think this is the key here. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of growing pains with a new system in place, with the injuries. They had to move people around. But it seems like Mike McDonald has some secret sauce, especially with moving guys around in the secondary. Curious what your thoughts are on this one. But, Nick, before we get to you, Seattle fans in the comment section below, coming off of a very, very hot streak, 3 wins in a row after the bye. We're coming into another divisional matchup at Arizona. You were able to take them at home. Defense did really well. They only scored 6 points in that game. Is it going to be a repeat performance when you go to Arizona? Let us know what your thoughts are on the final score of that game in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about these recent, observations about Seahawks?
We're starting to see what you and I, Mice, talked about coming into the season, that Mike McDonald was sort of the heir apparent to the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan offensive young guru. McDonald has come that on the defensive side of the ball. And we talked about this, I believe, in the preseason. And there were some lumps. Obviously, the Seahawks had to kind of find themselves, deal with some injuries, work their way through the season, like every team obviously always has to do. But for really the last month or so, they've been playing lights out football on the defensive side. And this is all a credit to Mike McDonald. We talked about him being the defensive Sean McVay. I'm going to go a different direction. I'm going to change my analogy now. I think he is this generation's Bill Belichick as a defensive coach. And here's what I mean by that. He puts his players in positions to be successful exclusively. Belichick was always so good at that. He would bring in a player and listen, let's say you're a corner and you were terrible in off-ball coverage, but you were great in press. He would never put you in a position off ball. You may not play as much as you normally would, but when you played, you'd only be in press coverage, right? He put you in positions to be successful. That's what Mike McDonald is doing with his defense, specifically the back end and the safety positions. He's putting his guys based on who's performing the best in positions to be successful. Charles Davis is noticing it, and the opposition is noticing this as well. We've got a tweet from Joe Goodberry, who's a Bengals social media guy. Really good follow if you're into Bengals stuff. He's got a really good analysis here. Let's go ahead and throw up this tweet here. And this is what Goodberry said. He said, Mike McDonald might be a safety wizard. He left the Ravens for a head coaching job with the Seahawks, and both Julian Love and Kobe Bryant are experiencing career years, according to PFF. Meanwhile, Marcus Williams and Geno Stone are now the 2 lowest graded safeties in the NFL. Look, did Geno Stone and Marcus Williams suddenly forget completely how to play football? No. The reality was those guys under Mike McDonald were put in positions to be successful and be superstars and be elite. McDonald leaves. Coaches who replace him don't have the same kind of intellectual firepower that McDonald has and is shown with the Seattle Seahawks, and why Kobe Bryant and Julian Love are dominating, again, according to PFF and the eye test as well. We're seeing literally everyone come out of the woodwork and say, Mike McDonald, 100% defensive guru. He is changing the game. We were on it early. I know a lot of Hawks fans out there were on it early as well, but I think this is just further proof that the future is bright, not just for this season, but for the out years as well for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, Nick, and this is absolutely true. What we see a lot of Mike McDonald, what we saw in those Ravens defenses, if we're talking about the times before he was at Seattle, that's what he would do. That was his speciality, is putting guys in situations to succeed, like you said. And I specifically point to something a little bit different. Obviously, the Ravens had a lot of great success in the secondary when he was around, but specifically the pass rushers as well. You'd see veteran guys come in and be put in really good situations to have career, defining years. Guys that suddenly, like you thought, maybe were washed up, couldn't be good in the NFL anymore, or just were, withering away till they retire, come out and have absolutely dominant double digit sack seasons in Baltimore because Mike McDonald put them in positions to succeed. But now we're seeing it differently in Seattle. We're talking, potentially Legion of Boom S 2.0. The secondary is doing a lot of great things. Heck, even their defensive interior linemen are getting pick sixes now when you look at what Leonard Williams was able to do. This is a team on the rise, and what a perfect time for them to be on the rise as well. We see this defense thriving. We see this offense doing a lot of good things. After the bye, they've been absolutely on fire. So I expect this defense to get even better down the stretch, and I expect this Seattle team to be really competitive come playoff time.
And one final point to hit on here. I love the fact you brought up Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams this year is also having a bit of a career renaissance. His PFF grade overall defensively is 85.0. His career average is about 78. His career high before this was about 81. So essentially, in this case, the way you can look at it is Leonard Williams, to be kind of rough statistically for you guys, he's 2 standard deviations right now above his average and 1 standard deviation above his maximum previous performance. It's not like Leonard Williams suddenly got better at football however many years into his NFL career, 10 years or so into his career. Mike McDonald knows how to put his players in positions to win, to be successful. We're seeing it with the Seattle Seahawks, and we'll see it going forward as well.